Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome. I'm Josh Horowitz, and today on Happy, Sad, Confused, we're live at the 92nd Street Y with the cast of Twisters, everybody. Daisy, Edgar-Jones, and Glen Powell are here. You ready? Of course you're ready. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. If you're like me, you remember 1996 very well. The original Twister redefined that disaster movie for its time, and the new one is fantastic. It is actually out in theaters right now. What are you doing here, guys? You should go to a movie theater. After this, go see it, because it is amazing. It will blow you away, and that is thanks in no small part to the two hugely charismatic, very talented actors that are making their Happy, Sad, Confused debut today. I'm so thrilled to welcome to the stage Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glen Powell, everybody. Give it up.
There it is, look at that. I can't ignore a fellow Longhorn, sorry.
Congratulations. Look, the movie, you did your part. The movie's out. So I don't even know why you're here at this point. Let's be real. But thank you for being with us today. How does it feel? This has been a long, seemingly fun press tour. Does this recall any other press tour you've ever been on, the Twisters one?
It's been so much fun. I don't want it to end. I mean, we're all such good friends. Like, I'm sad. I'm sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm happy the film's coming out.
Yeah, we've had a really great run with this one. I mean, you really bond when you're in the middle of Oklahoma and hot cars, you know, right. No cell service. You know, you really get to know each other, and it's been a really fun ride to kind of. It's felt more like a wonderful victory lap together, you know.
Yeah, I've been following your exploits literally around the world, around the country. A lot of folks have come out to support this movie. Who's had a better time at a premiere, Tom Cruise or your dog Brisket? Who?
That's a great question. I think they're hanging out together right now. No, I mean, you know what the best part about? I mean, look, Tom showing up to that premiere was wild, because I'd never gotten a chance to see Twisters with an audience, you know, in IMAX, which is how you guys should see it. See it in the biggest format possible. It's epic. But getting to see it with, you know, a guy who's been such a huge part of my life, and, you know, Top Gun, I learned so much about how to make a big blockbuster movie that still has heart, you know, a really strong heartbeat and great themes and great characters, and that really can like move audiences all over the world. And we got a chance to put a lot of that in this movie. And so the fact that I got to have the man, you know, next to me watching that movie was just so incredible. And in addition to that, he like freaking loved it. So he was going wild.
He's subtle usually in his reactions. Like,
what was that?
He's subtle in his reactions, right? He probably barely said anything.
Yeah, I think like Anthony's shoulder was bruised. He was just like hitting it, looking at Daisy, just high-fiving us, and just it was really. I mean, he really is one of the great torchbearers of like the theatrical experience, and just such a cheerleader for everybody who's given it a go, which I love.
I don't want to embarrass you, but from what I gather, he was a childhood.
Yep.
Crush?
Yep. I know, and Glen didn't tell me he was coming until he didn't tell me, and then, so I fell to the floor. Like, I was like, wait, what? I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I was very chill when I met him. I was like, hey, Tom, whatever. But no, I mean, it was amazing to watch it with him, and he really did genuinely love it, and it's so cool. Just, he's such a supporter of big movies. It's amazing.
Was this whole thing been a long con to get you into the next Top Gun movie, basically?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be any good at flying planes. I'm scared of flying.
Look, I wouldn't recommend driving in a car with Daisy in Oklahoma. The sides of the road are very different. She's not exactly like, I would say like, that car should not have been on the road. We were used to driving trucks. That car was too small for you.
It's the wrong side of the road for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. It was way more dangerous than anything I did in Top Gun.
Yeah, that's the scariest part of the movie, is Daisy's driving, you're saying?
We went to a Christmas store.
Yeah, we had a day off, and I was like, we should get some Christmas decorations, because we were back in Oklahoma in December, and I nearly killed us both. But we were fine. We're fine.
Hey.
It was fine.
It was fine. Yeah.
Fine. So I mentioned this obviously carries on the tradition of the original Twister, which is an important movie for, any of us that love these big spectacle, great classic summer movies. Did you go back to it? Like when you sign on to this, do you go back and see kind of like what the magic was of the original?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the original came out before I was born. So
You didn't have to say that, just for the record.
but I'd obviously heard of it because it's a classic, and you know, I actually, the reason I kind of came to watching it was I'd heard that the Isaac Chung, our director, was going to be doing Twisters, and he'd been on my list of like, if I could work with him, it would be amazing. I loved Minari. I just thought he was phenomenal, and I found it really interesting, his take on Twisters. It's such a big budget blockbuster, and he's, you know, such a detailed, character-driven indie filmmaker. I was kind of curious to see what drew him to it, and so I watched Twister, and absolutely loved it. I mean, you know, it's a classic for a reason. It's so phenomenal, and the characters are so brilliant, and it's just so much fun watching a group of people be enthusiastic about something. And up against real odds as well, real people up against real odds. And so I wrote a letter to Isaac, and we met, and I got the job, and then I think I've watched Twister about 50 times at this point. Yeah.
Very rewatchable movie. Glenn, you were 25 when the original Twister came out.
I mean, I've got enough old man jokes from Daisy. I don't need you. No, I was a big fan of this. As you know, I grew up in Austin, Texas, and you know, I did tornado drills as a kid, and a lot of my family's up in Dallas and north of Tornado Alley, and so I felt like tornadoes were sort of the monster in the backyard. It was sort of like a part of my life. But you know, I was telling Daisy, I was like, I felt like the more I've traveled around the world, the more I realized this movie really, you know, humans against nature. It's a very universal idea, and it happens on every corner of the planet. And you know, who we are in the face of storms, and who we become, you know, in the wake of them. It's a very human idea, and the metaphors and the themes are really just rich for exploration. So, you know, for me as a kid, it also just represented like the ultimate summer blockbuster. Like it contains like everything you want in a movie. Like it doesn't choose a lane. It's like fun, and it's romantic, and it's silly, and it's exciting, and it's thrilling. It's like that's what these movies are supposed to be, and that's why I'm really proud of this movie. Is that's the reason I got into this thing. You know, I want to deliver movies that didn't just settle for one attribute. It could deliver like an entire range of emotions for audiences everywhere.
And it does have a real also sense of place. This is not a film that was shot in a volume on a green screen. Yeah. It's like a lot of practical stuff going on. It's either the best or worst idea ever probably to shoot a Twister movie in Tornado Alley, I would think. To actually be there, because that's got to be. This was an intense shoot. Beyond Daisy's driving skills, this was intense.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was for me. It was so helpful coming from London. I really wanted to, like, you know, my character's from Oklahoma. She grew up chasing, so I really needed to get a sense of the environment. And so living there during storm season was invaluable. I mean, it was crazy though. I mean, so many days we had to finish filming early because a mesocyclone cloud, which they call it the mothership, had developed, and they can form into tornadoes, and we all had to leave, and we had a whole set blown away to then rebuild it, to then blow it away again on camera, which happened quite a lot. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing. You know, we met so many great storm chasers and meteorologists who helped guide us and consult with us, and they were in the film too. Everybody you see in the background is, you know, most of them are storm chasers and meteorologists, and that was really cool to just really ground it in a sense of, you know, authenticity.
Set up a little bit for the folks that haven't seen the film, the dynamic between your two characters. There's a little friction at the start, safe to say.
Yep.
What kind of guy is Tyler? What would you say?
Well, I would say that, yeah, I mean, this is Kate's story, you know, and the entry point is that, I mean, without giving anything away, Kate, you know, experiences something horrific where, you know, she used to be, you know, this really optimistic, like, chasing storms and weather used to give her, like, so much joy. And then, you know, she lost a lot of people, and that was taken away from her, and she's sort of moved to a place where she doesn't have to face that. She doesn't have to deal with that, and she gets pulled back to Oklahoma, back home, and sort of is facing the storm that, you know, the storm of trauma, you know, and sort of Tyler's role in that is to kind of remind her why facing your fears is the greatest thing, you know, that can give you the greatest joy. It's where you feel the most alive. So it's really, we complement each other in a really great way in this movie, and it's a beautiful story. I wouldn't even call it a love story. I would just call it like a life story. It's like two people making each other feel most alive, you know.
We have a little sneak peek at a couple scenes here. We're going to give the audience a little tease. This is Kate starting to get to know your crew a little bit, somewhat early on in the film. Let's check out a clip from Twisters. Here we go. Have you always had an ear for accents, or does the different American dialects come naturally to you?
Do you know, I actually have, yeah. I've got a lot of accents in my house growing up. My mum's Irish, my dad's Scottish. I haven't acted in my own accent in years. I think I'd be deeply embarrassed to do anything in my own accent. I'm not sure what it is anymore.
How's your British accent?
Oh, it's perfect.
It's coming along.
You want to give us a little taste?
Oh, no. It's usually, I wouldn't dare.
Is it important to actually understand the science being front and center in a movie like this? I mean, you have a lot of kind of like technical jargon to tackle in this. You have to sell it. Do you have to know the science behind it?
I think it's important, you know, there was a lot of scenes where they'd kind of be like, describe what you're seeing, and a lot of the time you weren't seeing anything, or, you know, and trying to sort of improvise was quite difficult with sciencey language, so we had people there to help, but it was important, and we went to a weather boot camp and had a little, like, induction into science and meteorology, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, you do kind of have to have a bit of an understanding, so it doesn't, you know where to put the intonations and things.
Daisy was also like the top student. Like she came to the National Weather Center like wearing the National Weather Center polo with the notebook highlighted. Like she knew what she was doing. But that's what it really takes, you know, for a role like this to be actually authentic. You know, you have to have a lead that takes that part of the job seriously. I mean, Kate is supposed to be brilliant and have this great instinct, and Daisy was just relentless about learning everything she could, you know, in terms of this world. And she's exactly right. There was one day we got out of the truck and they, you know, Isaac, our filmmaker, you know, said just, you know, improvise what you're seeing in the clouds. I was like, they're fluffy and sort of, you know. I was like, oh, we need to learn this.
Yeah. that classic meteorology term, fluffy.
Fluffy.
Yeah, I did take the liberty of looking up some terms, some I can't even say the word. Meteorological terms. Is this a meteorological term or a cocktail? Tell me this. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. You can tag team on this. A fire-nado. Is that a real thing or a cocktail?
What? I mean, we create a fire-nado.
Oh, well, I don't know.
You could say, have you had a fire-nado drink?
No.
Hey, we got there. So, is it
Technical?
it's a technical term?
Yeah, technical term.
Is it?
It is.
We have a fire, yeah.
She's so committed to not spoiling anything.
She's just thirsty. We're ready for a cocktail after this.
Is an Alabama slammer a cocktail or a term of meteorology?
Cocktail.
A monkey gland. What is a monkey
Don't call me that.
Cocktail?
Yes, you're doing great.
Right.
Haboob.
Oh, remember, this was the yeah. This is a meteorological term.
Haboob really made me laugh actually throughout.
They made me say that on Jeopardy, and I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be memeified.
A whale's mouth.
Whale's mouth. Oh wait, bear cage. Oh, whale's mouth. You ever hear whale's mouth?
Meteorological?
Yeah, let's go meteorological.
Yes.
Hey.
This is annoying. A demon semen.
Well. Cocktail.
The man that knows timing right there. Yeah. Guys, you aced it. Congratulations.
All right.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about, I mean, Tyler's character. Okay, we talked a little bit about the Kate character. Tyler, then, is this kind of YouTube influencer type, maybe not everything we think at first, but, I mean, how much of that kind of character exists that you found in the real world? Okay,
A lot. I mean, that was like, I think, you know, updating it from 96 to 2024, you know, we were talking like in the original, they're dealing with like paper maps. You know, they don't have cell phones. So the level of tech that is around these storm chasers is like pretty impressive. And also a lot of these folks get so close. They're trying to get the most dramatic footage possible. So the influencer storm chaser is a real thing. You know, but Tyler, you know, when you guys see the movie, it's more than meets the eye. He's a little bit of a douchebag when we start off. We get there.
The physicality that's necessary for these performances. I mean, again, a lot of stuff is practical. That's real wind, that's real water, that's real fire often. Is it the case of like sometimes no acting required, just kind of like be in the moment?
I mean, when you have a jet engine blasting wind at you, you can't really act, unfortunately. I thought I looked cool, and then I watched the film. But no, I mean, yeah, it was so physical and actually so fun because so much of it was practical. And I think when you watch it, you'll see it's the way Isaac's filmed it, it's so immersive. I think, especially when you see it on IMAX, it's kind of as close as you can get to chasing while staying dry. We got wet for you. But yeah, it's amazing, and we had the best special effects people, the best visual effects, and I mean, they were dropping horse trailers on us, people were thrown up on wires. I felt like I was on a theme park ride half the time. It was amazing. So
is that the kind of thing that you can even prepare for, like in your hotel room? Like, I mean, you can't pretend like something's coming at you in the mirror. You're gonna look like an insane person, and probably it's not gonna even be helpful. So again, is it sort of like, be in shape, be ready, know it's coming, and again, just live through that experience in real time?
You're a very prepared actor. I wouldn't put it past you that you practice your scared face in the mirror.
Did, yeah. I did. I videoed it.
Did you really? You just want to make sure your scared face works.
Sure, you know, yeah that it's convincing.
Do you have different scared faces for different levels of scared?
Yes, from F1 to F5 level tornado, they change.
Can you give me an F1? Let's start low.
F1.
Do we want to do each state? F2, let's go, F2.
Do you want to do
F2? Okay, your turn, F3.
Sorry, that one got me. F3.
F4, Glenn.
Oh my God, like one of those.
And under the breath mutter. Oh my God.
It's here.
And then the granddaddy of them all.
F5, I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Fuck this and that. What is it like? Because look, you've never done a film of this type, certainly, and even like your stuff, you've never been front and center in something like this. What is it like? Again, you love movies, you love this kind of thing. To see this with an audience, it must be just so surreal and kind of a bucket list moment.
Oh, completely. I mean, our first premiere was in Leicester Square in London, and I grew up remembering all these huge films coming to Leicester Square and them having these big premieres, and all my parents came and my whole family and all my friends, and I stepped onto that carpet and I was like, wow, like it really was a real pinch me moment. And yeah, it was amazing to be there with Glenn and Anthony and the whole, you know, just seeing that film on the big screen and it really getting a sense of just how big it was. It really was a big bucket list tick for me, for sure.
Was it something that was kind of on the list, like the last few years? Like, I'd like to test myself in this kind of a movie.
I think so. I mean, as an actor, you just want to be able to look back on your career when you're older and be like, God, I did loads. Look at all these different things I did. Like, I'd love to do a rom-com and, you know, play a villain. I want to try my hand at everything. And for me, it was so perfect because it was a chance to be in something of this scale, but also with a filmmaker that I really felt held by and who had an eye for character and I knew was going to ground it in truth in some way. And that's kind of what I'd always hope as an actor, that there can be that detail no matter the scale.
And for you, Glenn, I mean, again, I always say, like, every movie is a miracle, and every great movie is like 10 times a miracle. So it must just be an extraordinary sense of relief. I mean, you knew Isaac was talented, obviously. You knew the script was there. But until you see it in a theater and see it with an audience, you don't know.
Well, I think what makes Isaac, again, our director is like, you know, so special, but he really, like, I think the greatest filmmakers I've worked with are just really great listeners. You know, and he really listened to he literally let all the cast contribute ideas and bring things to the table. And, you know, he never, you know, shot down ideas before they needed to be shot down. And he, again, he's from this place. He's from Arkansas. You know, he's from Tornado Alley. He knows this place. And so it was just, the set was so calm, like, despite the chaos that was happening around us, you know. Isaac, it was almost a problem how soft-spoken he was sometimes when they were shooting ice and debris and all those things, like, you know, but he's a rare kind of guy that can keep the heartbeat in a movie. And he paid attention to performance in the midst of this. He wasn't worried about visual effects and, you know, special effects. He let department heads, like, lead a lot of that. and he really focused on like how an audience was going to engage with it emotionally, which is like the thing that matters at the end of the day.
You mentioned him being soft-spoken. It occurred to me when I was watching the movie, like, you know, ADR is always a part of the process, right, where you have to kind of loop in your voices in a film. But in a film like this, where the set was so loud, as I understand it, was like, did you have to like deliver a whole other performance in ADR? And how mortifying is that for an actor?
So embarrassing. I think I spent 3 days just screaming.
Right.
Because there's a lot of screaming. And after I was like, I took a long bath after it because it was, deeply mortifying, to be honest. But actually great. I mean, I remember you telling me an amazing story about Top Gun about how, because there was so many masks in the airplanes, that you can rewrite a lot of the script in post, which is so cool. And actually, to be honest, the same with us, but it was so loud that we had to re-record quite a lot. But you can add so much more dimension in ADR, and that's a real gift.
So we're talking about the physicality and the elements. Would you rather have wind or water pelt you in the face?
Wind.
Yeah. Water, no bueno.
Would you rather be sweating or freezing in a scene?
Sweating.
This is like learned experience. Like I sense experience coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, we had some really cold, wet nights.
There's one sequence, just watch, at the motel. I'll just say it was filmed in December in Oklahoma. It was so cold, and we were in shorts and a tank top and rain and wind. I was cold.
Yeah, that was a brutal night. That was a brutal night. It's a sick sequence.
It's amazing.
But a brutal night.
I just like to hear you describe it, and then I turn to Glenn, and I just see him doing this.
I'm going back. Going back to Pahuska.
I guess this is for Glenn specifically. A wet T-shirt or no T-shirt? What do you prefer?
I mean, I didn't realize there's like a wet T-shirt moment in this movie that it totally caught me by surprise. No, trust me, it's like they were like, hey, just so you're aware, like Isaac was like, hey, we're gonna have a rain machine in the shot. I think it'll look cool. I was like, all right, cool. And they're like, hey, I don't think we're gonna do the jacket. You just kind of hold it. You're leaving the house. I was like, all right. And then walking out, I'm like, okay, I see what's happening.
Sorry, we're objectifying you, Glenn.
Yeah.
I apologize. So water or fire? We kind of covered this, but it seems like they're both horrible, probably. But
Fire, sure.
Fire?
Yeah, great.
here's my way of getting at a newsy question. You doing backdraft, buddy? What's going on?
Am I doing backdraft, guys? I'll you know, who knows? I'll go into fire. I don't know, but then I'm back.
What's the? I love that movie, by the way. So if it happens, amazing. Okay, so you look back at this experience. What's the new skill on the skill set on the resume that you add to this?
Well, stunts for me. I've never done really stunts like this, so now I know, and now I know how it works. Mostly let the stunt person do it would be my learning.
Big lesson of the shoot.
Exactly.
We've been talking a lot about the action. Let's look at another scene from Twisters that'll give you a real taste of what you're in for. This is from Twisters. Check it out.
Yeah.
You get your money's worth, safe to say, trust me. There's also, you know, we talked about how this is kind of a swerve for you in your career. There's a wonderful symmetry. Your buddy Paul Mescal, also we're going to see very soon in a ginormous Gladiator movie. Have you guys commiserated? Have you commiserated about, like, just the confluence of events? You're in a Twister movie, he's in a Gladiator movie. What has happened to our lives, essentially?
I know, it's so cool. I mean, I was thinking, you know, it all started in an audition room in Dublin 5 years ago, and now I'm here. And it's sort of wild seeing where Paul's going to. It's sort of, you know, he's my best friend, and he's so talented. I'm just so proud of him, truly.
When people see you guys out in the wild together, they must, like, doubly freak out. Like, they're seeing both of you. Oh, I'm seeing normal people in life. Like,
yeah.
How do they react? Do you notice a difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, we went to Glastonbury recently, and that was funny. I think people were like, wait, what? You know? But also because, I mean, we're both so normal. I think when you're just normal, people are like, oh, cool, and then they're normal, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I think it's definitely novel when we're together, for sure.
So we were talking in the beginning about the press tour. You guys have, you've done it all. You've competed eating wings. You've done dances. Let's talk about the dances for a second, actually. How many, so we were talking about drinks earlier. How many drinks did you have to pour into that guy's gullet to make him do a TikTok dance?
None. He was well up for it.
I've always wanted to be a TikTok star, Josh.
Should we take a look at their dancing ability? Check it out. This is quick, but memorable. How does that make you feel to watch that back?
I'm sort of in that same place of that cold night in
So much trauma in this.
No, I gotta say, Daisy has been, look, the entire time we were shooting, she was the team leader and the person that took us out to fun bars, to line dance, and she was the resident DJ on set. Really created a vibe in Oklahoma when, a lot of times like with a cast, people separate and they go home after work and, they don't really, form real relationships. And Daisy was such a heartbeat and just like the fun engine to the whole set. So it makes sense that, she would convince us to do a TikTok dance. And line dancing has become a big part of her life, and there may be a line dancing TikTok coming soon.
Wow, there's a teaser.
That she also convinced me to do. Yeah.
That was your idea.
Okay, maybe.
He pretends he doesn't want it, but he wants it. Did it come naturally to him? Does he have a natural...
Oh, there's a brat in Glen, Always. The best kind.
To be fair, I didn't know what Brat Girl Summer was until recently.
I'll teach you the dance too, don't worry.
Good. Can you define Brat Girl Summer by now?
It's honestly too complex to really talk about.
Right. It's more of a state of mind.
Yeah. It's just how I live.
Okay, some most likely who's for you guys. Who's most likely to have a YouTube channel like Tyler, a YouTube influencer?
Of the two of us?
Yeah.
Gosh, neither of us really, but
I feel like you
me.
would, yeah.
Me at this point.
What would it be? Teaching your TikTok dances? What would you do?
I mean, I think I used to have a YouTube channel when I was like 8 where I did like a French braid. So I'd continue with that.
Amazing. Dig that up. Who's most likely to be a superhero at this point?
I think you? What?
Ooh.
Oh, really?
You're super.
Oh, hey, you
Hey. Hey.
We haven't really talked about, we never really had superhero conversations.
Here it is. It's happening in
Real
real time.
leaks are happening,
Yeah.
I'm saying this opens up a world of possibilities. You can do it all. Star in a musical. Who's going to star in the musical first?
Glen, singing in the rain.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not starring. It's just one of my, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Gene Kelly was a big hero of mine, so if I were to do a musical, that'd probably be the one.
This is a missed opportunity. There was a lot of rain. There's a lot of fire in this movie.
This is really Singing in the Rain, the action movie. It should get out the musical numbers, yeah.
Stay to the end of the credits.
Yeah.
No. Who's more likely to be caught checking themselves out in the mirror prior to a scene?
Don't do it.
Honestly, maybe Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony. Anthony, yeah.
Smart lady, yeah. Who's more competitive?
Daisy.
Yeah, me.
How does that manifest? Over what? Everything? Any big, small things?
Do you know what? I don't mind losing, but I hate the thought of it. So within the process, I'm competitive. But once I've lost, I'm fine.
Right.
Yeah, you're not a sore loser, but she brings it all to the table. No, honestly, like from minute one of meeting her, I will tell you, one of my favorite things about meeting Daisy for the first time was we were in rehearsal and Daisy comes in this like really, like almost like this kind of outfit, like just very chic. And we're in Oklahoma, and I'm like, oh, Daisy Edgar-Jones, like coming in with like some style to thing. I'm like in sweatpants. And then after that first meeting, she wore the same gray sweatpants suit the entire time. But I was like, okay, she came competitive to the first one.
Yeah.
I lost, and then we were good,
Good to know what you're dealing with right from the start. Are we more likely to get the Normal People continuation or the Top Gun sequel first? What do you think, guys?
I mean, I have a date.
Top Gun.
No. Do you have a date?
No.
Okay, then probably me.
Any news you want to share tonight?
Absolutely not.
Do you know things you can't say?
Josh, we should go to the next question.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed. And you get asked this, I know, every day, which is a flattering thing. People want to see that story continuing. In your heart of hearts, you think at some point you guys will go back?
I don't know. It's for Sally Rooney. I mean, it's hard. In some ways, I'm like, I'd love to see where they are 10 years later, but then also I feel like it was such a beautiful, incomplete story, and we can always wonder. So I don't know.
And in terms of sequels, getting back to Twisters, I mean, one of the things that I think really works about this film, and you guys will see when you see it, is it really does honor the original and the spirit of it without being ham-fisted about connecting it to specific characters and moments, etc. It's its own thing, but again, honors the original. That being said, if you guys continue, is there an interest in connecting it even more? Would you want to see Helen Hunt, other characters, more references woven in, or like, do you have a feeling of like, kind of where you go forward?
I think what's really, I think what's really bold about this movie is that Isaac, you know, it's such a delicate dance to try to like service up fans of the original, but also try to make something wholly original. And I feel like Isaac really leaned into the more wholly original thing. Yeah. I don't think he did a lot of fan servicing in this, and I think it makes it a standalone movie that really just like, I don't know, just burns with a brighter fuel. You're not looking back. You're very present in this movie. Yeah.
We don't have cows. You don't need a flying cow in every Twister movie.
Yeah, they're just on the ground kind of grazing. Nothing flies.
Leave the poor cows alone. They don't need to be flying around. Some audience questions for you guys. Claudia wants to know, what are the essentials of a Twister's summer? Forget Brat Girl summer. What's a Twister's summer?
Well, a specific windy blowout, because, you know, just basically go and put your head in front of like any form of strong wind, not from a human. Sorry.
The amount of breaking wind puns that came out of Daisy on this movie.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's the end of the press tour. This is when you let it all hang out, guys.
But anyway, yeah. I'll move on to you.
What was the question?
I don't even know. Twister Summer. What are the elements that make a great
Twister Summer.
Yeah.
What are the elements you need for Twister Summer? I would go in a shirt that doesn't, to watch this movie in a shirt that you don't see sweat in. I think we all realized how sweaty we were after we got out of that first IMAX screening. It's a very intense movie, and I think like there's belly sweat that can happen.
So
stress sweat.
Yeah, a white T-shirt that, when rained on, looks great. Windy hair.
Yep.
And a great soundtrack, of which this film
Twister
has.
soundtrack.
Another audience question. Directors have been making disaster movies always since movies began. Why do you think we keep returning to this genre? Why do we love a good disaster movie?
Yeah, well, I think what's exciting about something like Twisters, I said it before, but the original inspired so many people to chase. And it's really cool to have a film where you root for characters in moments of sort of adrenaline and peril, but, you know, up against something that's plausible and real. And I think, yeah, it's just exciting to be a part of something that's got adventure, but it's also like, it's based in our natural world. It's based in our real world in quite a cool way. And I think, yeah, we just love that feel of adrenaline, I think, is really infectious, and it's what you go to the films to experience, is feeling, you know, things.
Yeah, it's relatable. We all know what that is. We don't necessarily want to be there, but we want to kind of get a taste of it, and this just gives it just enough. Here's a good question. What scene made you break the most during filming? When we're watching the movie, what should we look out for? The scene that really tested you.
What scene made us break the most in this movie?
There's quite a few.
Yeah. Daisy's a goof. I mean, I think you guys are probably
spoiler alert.
You are too.
Really hard to like be terrified when Daisy's around. Like, because she introduced me to the term eggy. You know, like when you're acting to an invisible tornado. Right. You know, and she's like, it's feeling a bit eggy. You know. And it's like, you know,
there's the accent. We got it.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we broke quite a bit on the dinner table scene.
Oh yeah, that was right.
Yeah.
That was a really fun night. You're gonna see there's this great dinner scene where it's really like Tyler and Kate like kind of getting to know each other. I would say more as like humans and yeah, we barely got through that. It's like magic hour. It's like one of those that stresses the entire camera department out. You have 20 minutes to shoot the movie, you know, the scene, and Daisy and I just got the giggles.
Sure the crew appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys. Yeah. For both of you, both of your works have spanned many genres. Is there any one genre in particular you would like to do again, or one that you haven't done yet?
Yeah, I'd love to do a horror again. I did a horror called Fresh, and I really enjoyed it. But I'd love to do.
Good movie. You and Sebastian, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got the scared face. You got frightened face.
That's where I learned my scare. That's where all the training came in. Yeah.
That's actually where Daisy and I met, by the way, is the Fresh premiere.
Yes. There you go. That's right.
I didn't know I was going to a premiere. I thought it was just a screening. And then I see like just meat hanging everywhere. And then I met you. You were lovely, and then she was lovely in the. I got to chemistry read. She was cast, and she was very nice in the chemistry read. Gave me all the chemistry on the other side of that Zoom.
Your chemistry read was over Zoom.
Yeah.
That's got to be challenging.
Worked out.
I mean, obviously. What's the genre for you? Is there one on the list? Do you chase a genre, or it seems like you're chasing filmmakers and great.
Yeah.
You know.
A lot of great filmmakers. Like I feel like Edgar Wright is a guy that I'd wanted to work with so long. Like I'm about to do Running Man with Edgar Wright, and he's like one of those. I feel like he's like, thank you. Yeah, he's like a genre in himself. You know what I mean? He's like one of those like singular filmmakers. And I feel like that's guys like the Daniels. You know, like just like guys that really have like a unique perspective on the world and get to live in their vision. You know.
You brought it up. What can I expect out of an Edgar Wright interpretation of a Stephen King book?
It's so sick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Not like the art.
No, it's not like the movie.
No, it's
the
art.
book.
No, yeah.
It's way more. It's sci-fi Jason Bourne. It's like, but it's his world. His vision for it is so fun. It's gonna be epic. I'm really excited.
Amazing. All right, we're gonna end with this: the happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questionnaire. As if my questions haven't been random enough. Here we go, guys. Dogs or cats?
Dogs. Some sad cat owner over here. I heard.
What do you guys collect? Do you collect anything, either of you?
Ooh, you collect lots of stuff.
Come from a family of hoarders.
You don't throw anything away, ever.
Nostalgic hoarders. Oh, wait, what do you collect?
Well, I save all my scripts. So I have like I save audition sides sometimes. So I have my first ever like audition for Normal People, and you know, a film I did called Pond Life that started me off, and yeah. So I save all my scripts. I don't know if that's collecting really.
Yeah.
I was going back through some of our notes. Daisy and I spent a lot of time like kind of, you know, breaking apart the script and rewriting stuff, and I've been sending her pictures and little notes that we took along the way. It is fun to go down memory lane. I don't know if I try to take my belt buckle. I usually take a piece of my wardrobe from every movie, and I took my belt buckle that says Tornado Wrangler, and I got a call that said, you need to give that back. But I do have the cattle guard from the front of Tyler's truck. I have that now. And I didn't steal that.
I was going to say, do they know about this?
And I'm turning that into my dining room table. Or like in my kind of like theater area, it's like the table in there, yeah.
And the soaking wet T-shirt you've kept for sentimentality.
Yeah, I bought that at an auction.
You beat me out on it, sorry. Okay, last actor you were mistaken for.
I get Anne Hathaway a lot. Okay. And Joe Quinn.
You get Joe
Quinn?
I haven't been mistaken for Joe Quinn, but people have told me I look like a female Joe Quinn.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it. We could, yeah.
Okay. Glenn and I don't, but you know.
I don't, yeah.
I mean,
Joe
great
Quinn's
actor.
Also, yeah, he's a handsome guy.
Handsome dude.
I just don't think you guys are the same.
Anywho.
I get Justin Hartley.
Right. Something
sort
beautiful.
of a validating noise.
Something beautiful about that. It's the collective. What's the wallpaper? The wallpaper on your phone. You want to cop to what's on the wallpaper on your phone?
It is currently a photo booth photo of me and all my best friends from Normal People. Yeah.
Again, we're on a roll, guys.
It's my family and me in matching tracksuits.
Right. Powell's like a matching outfit, don't they?
Yeah, they love a theme.
What's the worst note a director has ever given you?
I hate when directors give you percentages, when they're like, just 10% more. And you're like, what do you mean? That I struggle with.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like with the worst note. I think it's more, yeah, because sometimes I want somebody when they're like, so I want you to think. I actually don't like when they give me like, hey, I want you to think about this. Like I don't want them to tell me how to do it.
Right.
Just tell me what you want.
How to get there?
Yeah.
Where do you want me to get to?
Yeah.
I'll
Because
do
if they
the
just
work.
say, hey, I think this is affecting you more emotionally, or hey, just get through it faster. You know, whatever it is, like. I prefer those notes because then I'll be like, okay, I can reverse engineer it.
Right.
But I hate it when they're like, hey, let's talk about your dad. I'm like, I'll get there.
That's my call. All right, finally, in the spirit of happy, sad, confused, an actor that always makes you happy. You see them on screen, you're happy.
Ooh, Glen Powell.
Aw, Daisy Edgar-Jones.
A movie that makes you sad.
Marley and Me.
I cried so hard in Marley and Me that my eyes were swollen for days. I literally for days. And I bet the person I was on a date. And I bet the person I was on a date with, I said, okay, whoever buys, whoever cries first has to buy dinner. And then I was just like sobbing. And it ended before it was like just like pay for dinner and she has to be stuck with me while I'm still crying. God, that's a Marley and Me is a good
I was gonna say, is there one worse than Marley and Me?
I don't think I've ever cried as hard as I did in Marley and Me.
Don't watch it now. You have brisket. That's gonna be.
Oh, don't even go there.
Now I'm back to that far away.
And finally, a food that makes you confused. What food do you not get?
Chicken fried steak.
No, that's not true.
It's confusing though.
Oh, it's confusing.
What is it?
Is it chicken? Is it steak? What's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I'm with
okay.
her.
Either way, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
I'm not.
We're just saying you love each other like 10
but
seconds ago.
You love a chicken fried steak, right?
I don't really, you know.
Oh, shit.
Too conceptually weird.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of British foods I don't love. Pies, you know?
Just pies in general?
Like a meat pie.
Okay.
What?
Vitriolic,
Yeah.
just
well,
anger.
you throw stones over here, I'm throwing.
We're not going to end on this sad note. Let's on a happy note. This movie rocks. It's fantastic. Congratulations, guys. The movie is Twisters. It's out in theaters right now. Get your tickets. See it on IMAX. See it on the biggest screen possible. Thank you guys so much for coming out today. Isaac Chung, Glen Powell, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Woo.